how to become wealthy online, how to, become rich. I was Googling these sort of things to just figure out, is there a way besides doing this the rest of my life? And that's where I came across Rich Dad Poor Dad, like many, real estate guys and entrepreneurs. So that book totally transformed how I thought and realized, oh man, there's another way out. So yeah, that's what clicked for me and realized I can retire young.
Yeah, I wish I could say like your experience is unique, but the truth is like that's the experience of tens and tens of thousands of college students. Is they got sold the dream, and they went to a school, could have even been just a good school. But if it's not like Harvard or Oxford or one of these, where they like, it's like, I went to a good school and it come out and it's not easy. It's just not easy. So where'd you go from there, man? How you read Rich Dad Poor Dad? Anybody who hasn't read that, that's you got to read that. That's a hands down book. But your journey kind of became even more unique than that, man. And that's what I'm excited about. So keep taking us down this story.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So after that, it was, all right, I'm someone that likes to follow a blueprint. So if someone's already done something, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna copy what they did. And so Robert Kiyosaki, one of his first jobs was at Xerox selling copiers. So guess what I did? I applied for Xerox. And one of my family friends worked there and he helped me get the job. So I actually went from just reading that book to trying to copy everything Robert Kiyosaki was doing. So I went and got a job at Xerox working sales. I was, naturally gifted to be able to talk to people and I enjoyed that. But going from a environment to a corporate environment and trying to sell, copiers or software or anything, it was tough. And so the first 6 months, I almost quit 6 times. And so every single time I would go over to, my friend Craig, who helped me get the job. And I'd be like, Craig, man, like, I don't know. I think I'm done. And he would just say something that would just be like, why? Are you a quitter? And I knew deep down in my heart, I'm like, I'm not a quitter. That's not someone who I was. That's not someone, my parents raised me to be. So I was like, screw this. I'm sticking with it. And so I just stuck with it. And literally within the next 6 months after that, I became, one of the top producers at this company. And then from there, fast forward 4 or 5 years, was the number one salesperson at the Xerox company that I was at.
Wow. How long were you there?
I think about 6 years. So that was my job. I'm very loyal. So I was like, no, this is it. And I rocked with it.
Yeah. Before we get to how you quitting your job and how that came about and what you got into that allowed you to quit your job.
Yeah.
I want to just I think it's such a beautiful point that I wish more people would understand is that in school, you're taught that if you copy your neighbor, if you look at their answer sheet, that is the worst thing in the world. You should not copy people. And what I've always hated about school, my parents really taught me this because I was homeschooled, and they said, hey, my parents had this philosophy of put me around as many people as possible so that I could copy what they're doing. And you took copy to a whole new level. You're like, oh, Robert Kiyosaki got a job at Xerox. I'm going to get a job at Xerox. But life works different than school. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of traditional education is kind of starting to go by the wayside. People are starting to wake up to this idea that it's not preparing you for how life actually works, because how life actually works is if I see Jesse Ray doing something awesome, I should just do what you're doing. Now, granted, there are some things that may work for you that don't work for me. But I should at least see, okay, well, I like what Jesse's doing. He's doing that. Can that fit into my world? Like, how can I copy that? Or as Tony calls it, modeling, right? I'm just, because something Diego says a lot, success leaves clues. And I'm looking for those clues and I'm trying to figure it out and then put it into my world. So it's a really great point you bring up, and that copying is okay. And you straight up you just went copy paste. You didn't make any adjustments to fit you. So I love that. And I wish more people would just do that. And that takes faith. But I wish more people would just do that to kind of switch their situation up. So you're laying out a blueprint. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one thing I'll touch on real quick was about the copying. My manager was amazing. He crushed it. But I also realized I can copy my manager to a point, and then I actually got to be myself. So we would have these, ride-alongs, and I would try to do these appointments and try to be my manager. And I wasn't using my own personality. And so that was when actually everything switched for me. I'm like, okay, I'll copy up to a point and then realize I still got to, put myself out there and use my own personality as well.
Yeah, no, well said. I agree. So tell us about how you got to being able to then take your top in the company and then you let it all go.
Yeah, I know, right? Everyone's like, Jesse, you're crushing it.
You're at a six-figure level at this point, right?
100%,
Very close.
yeah.
You're six-figure level,
Yeah.
and you're how old when you're the top person?
This is about 26.
So you're 26 years old,
Mhm.
six-figure level. Take us from that point.
Yeah.
Because
So
what you're doing for people who are listening to this is you're kind of laying out a blueprint, or maybe just giving them inspiration. Because what I love about your story, and I don't mean to jump the gun too much on this, but is that a lot of people say they can't quit their job because they're making too much money. It's just the truth.
golden handcuffs, man.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They're golden handcuffs, right?
Yeah.
And so you've got to find a way, and I think you've paved that path for people. And that's why I'm really taking time and allowing you to just kind of tell this story, because I want people to just be inspired by that and recognize, wait, I might be at a six-figure level or even a multiple six-figure level, but it is possible for you to get to a place of more freedom, more wealth, more location, independence, like you are right now, coming to us from Puerto Rico.
I'm looking at the ocean right now. It's beautiful.